to the Global Studies Lecture Series. I'm Professor Suzette Scotti, and I teach art history here at Leeward Community College. In this program, we invite guests to share their experiences and insights from countries and regions all around the world. The Global Studies program at Leeward is an interdisciplinary program designed to prepare students for success in today's interconnected world. Through a variety of courses that emphasize international and multicultural perspectives, students can earn an academic subject certificate in global studies. Our program encourages global awareness and cultural sensitivity, helps develop foreign language communication skills, and strengthens critical thinking, problem solving, and cross-cultural communication, all essential skills in the global workplace. Whether your interests lie in international relations, global business, diplomacy, the travel industry, education, or working with non-governmental organizations, the Global Studies program provides a strong foundation for your future. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to reach out to me at sdscotti@hawaii.edu or my colleague, Dr. Kareem Khan, at khana@hawaii.edu. Today, we're sitting down with Sahar Kiskis, a fourth-year honors student at the University of Hawaii at Mānoa, majoring in art history. Born and raised in San Diego, Sahara aspires to become an interior designer after graduating this spring. She's passionate about traveling the world and exploring the history, food, culture, and art of different countries. So welcome, Sahara, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. Oh, merci beaucoup.
Merci. Please, share your wonderful experience in Paris with us. Make us all jealous.
Oh my goodness. So I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I cannot wait to talk about this summer that I spent in Paris. So to get started, why Paris? Why would I have chosen Paris as the place where I wanted to spend my summer, move off island, and experience that? So first of all, I got accepted to do a summer program, not one, but two, with the Paris College of Art. It is located in the 15th arrondissement. There's so many arrondissements in Paris. So where I lived in comparison to the school was very far, but this opportunity really just was one I didn't want to miss out on. It was going to be enhancing my sketching skills and as well as my interior design skills. One was specifically sketching in interior design and architecture, and then the other one was a interior design class. So both of those were 4 weeks total of learning and growing in those areas.
Those sound like the perfect classes for you, being interested in a career as an interior designer.
Absolutely. I feel like also I try to take my summers as a way of a learning experience and being able to get out of my comfort zone and go somewhere and completely learn more. And so Paris felt like the perfect opportunity, this for sure. But then to continue, I have kind of a background with France, more so specifically the language of French. I took classes when I was really little, got tutored in that, but then I decided that when I went to high school, when it was time to choose my language, I felt like French was just something that I was very interested in. And so I did it for all 4 years of high school, and I ended up becoming a officer for the French Honor Society at my school. So I really became passionate about the French culture and just learning about France and other Francophone speaking countries through the language of French.
Very impressive. And you're very lucky that you started so young when you still were able to hear the sounds and acquire a good accent.
It is so hard. I mean, it still trips me up today, like just our conversation, but I think that's also part of it. Getting into and living in like a Francophone speaking place, it really helps you be able to be on the fly, be able to speak, read, or write whenever you need to. And then, I've also been luckily twice to France before. So I really wanted to have my own experience as an adult for the first time and experience Paris in that way, which was, can't wait to get into it, very fun.
It's different there when you're on your own, isn't it? You have to be more self-sufficient.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot I learned, for sure, especially, absolutely. So where did I stay in Paris? The university did provide some sort of housing, but I wanted to be able to experience it in a different way. So I was really lucky and got an Airbnb in the 7th arrondissement, which is one of the dreamiest arrondissements, I want
Oh.
to say, where Palace de Invalides is. It's to the right of that. So it was like closer to the 6th arrondissement. So it was so cool being
Oh.
able to just like, it was very residential and it felt very safe, which was something that I was concerned about, like my number one concern when moving there for the time I was there, just to feel really safe. Because I feel like here on island, I'm very lucky that it's been a very safe environment. And obviously, with a city as big as Paris, with multiple neighborhoods and so many different people living there or even traveling there, it's definitely really important to feel secure and find some sort of comfort in that. And so, yeah, my Airbnb was not what I expected when I got to it, but it was the cute little Parisian chic kind of home. It was the perfect place just to be able to uh, recline after my long school day. My long school days would be from 9 to 5. So it was the perfect place to unwind after those long days. And the Rue de Begon, that was the avenue that I lived on. So took photos of that. And then that's like the living room inside of it. We really were trying to financially be on a budget with this experience and me living there. And so the Airbnb, we really wanted to stay somewhere that was safe, but then also affordable. And so this Airbnb was definitely really helpful with
You were
that.
in the heart of the heart.
I know. The
Paris.
Eiffel Tower was
Oh
only
my
like
gosh.
a 15-minute walk, which I was so lucky. I got to see it everywhere, which is like, it's like almost like a competition, like who could see the Eiffel Tower the most. And I definitely would say I saw it the most out of my friends being there.
You win. And the apartment is so elegant. It has all those beautiful Parisian features with the parquet
It's a-
floors and the mirrors and the tall windows. And
It's totally like a Parisian interior, from like
I'm
the
drooling.
pattern of the wood floors to like, it was really cool. It also had like a frescoed wall, so it was gorgeous. It was really, I've never been in an apartment like it. So it really gave off that European interior that you really see, especially in Paris.
I
for
bet
sure.
it inspired you for your career in
Yeah.
interior design.
Because I do
huh?
want to incorporate different elements,
Yeah.
not have it all just be one. And so this was just a perfect example. And those floors, I still dream of those floors. So.
Magnificent. It looks like they creak.
Yeah, the only thing is they definitely should get them fixed because it's starting to have the wear and tear. So, so that's was also really good to see that for sure. So yeah, getting around Paris. So how do you get around a big urban city like Paris itself? So really, primarily, the first photo mainly shows. I mean, I have a matcha in my hand and I'm taking photos of flowers. Everything was really photogenic in Paris, so I tried to take as many photos as I can. But a lot of it was walking, which honestly, Paris is such a fun city to walk around. You can get to multiple different places. It is really long, depending on what arrondissement you're trying to get to and where you're going. But I really loved walking. I enjoyed it, especially being able to experience rain in Paris was something so magical just because living here, we have really great weather year round. And yeah, when the rain happens, for sure, super fun to get out a coat and an umbrella. But definitely, this is like something I feel like in the movies that you see where you're able to walk with an umbrella throughout a big fun city like Paris and just being able to enjoy that.
Did you ever get lost?
No, I actually didn't.
Really?
More so, which I'm going into, is the metro. That was really hard in the beginning just because there are so many different lines. I want to say they at least have like, has to be 12 plus lines. So it's really big and they're all taking you, whether it's like in Paris or suburbs outside, it's really, it was a lot to adjust to. But as soon as I figured out what lines I'd be taking to my campus or where I'd be going and meeting friends, I kind of slowly began to memorize what lines I would be taking. But the one thing that was interesting is that it is really helpful getting a Navigo card, which is like what you can use to pretty much get around Paris. So you just put it on, instead of getting a ticket, you just put it on like the scanner and it will be able to take you around Paris or wherever you're going, whether it be by bus or metro. So I primarily took metro just because it was the easiest, most efficient for me. But also learning that too, also that the setting of the metro being really self-aware, especially of those pickpocketing situations and just those characters that come on, really, it's all about just being self-aware and knowing what situations feel safe and what don't and what to do in those different moments.
Trusting your instincts, right? Keeping your eyes peeled like you would in any big city.
But I was pinching myself daily every single time I would take the metro. I'm like, man, I'm never going to do this. Like every single day saying this was my mode of transport for at least a long time. So it was really fun being able to say that because here I just get in my car and go to campus or wherever I'm going. So it was really nice to be able to appreciate what walking and the metro can do.
And
So,
walking too is such a great way to get to know a place because you
oh
really
yeah,
get to feel the environment and you get to know the little shops and your place where you like to go to your supermarkets, and you
absolutely.
start to feel more like a resident and not just a tourist passing through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also too, I feel like because Paris just had the Olympics as well, it was very clean.
Mm.
So it was almost so fun just being able to walk wherever. And even the metro lines, really everything was very clean. And you
Mm.
could really see the effects of what the Olympics had on Paris prepping for that. And so it was awesome just being able to walk in what felt like such a clean city. It was really,
You went
really
at
the
the
experience.
ideal time. It was much better than going during the Olympics because it would have been a zoo. So
It
you
would
got
have
all
been
the
so many
benefits of the
people.
Olympics and none of the
It
inconveniences.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a zoo being there just because it is also the height of their tourist season and also it
Oh.
was really hot too. But you know what? I
Mm.
can't complain. It was really honestly, you just got to be around so many different people of different cultures, whether it be a French local or whoever. It was really, you got to experience so much.
It's a
So,
very cosmopolitan international city. Yeah.
absolutely,
Mm.
for sure.
Mm.
So the food scene, this is something I'm all about. I'm a big foodie myself. And so Paris is one of the perfect cities to experience so many different types of cuisines and all of that.
Ah.
So first of all, oh my gosh, I there's so much to dive into from savory to sweet, but this was one really cool just being able to like I think I took my phone honestly ate first in every single moment, like taking photos of everything. So got to go into some really cool like cheese shops and even that cheese that's in the middle with all the flowers, that was like worth I think almost 50 euros, which was insane to see.
That's cheese under all those flowers?
Yes.
Do you eat the flowers or just
I
the
think you
cheese?
could. I think they were edible. I did not
Really?
get it. That was something when my mom was in town when we went. We were like, oh, we should have done that. That was one of the things we should have
It
done.
looks too pretty to eat.
I know it really does. It was delicious. It was. Oh, I wish I like. I my mouth is watering. I wish I could have tried it.
Did you eat the? Oh, you didn't eat the
No,
flowers.
I wish. And then that one with the asparagus on it, or the vegetables on it, was actually a piece of salmon. It was one of the best pieces of salmon I've ever consumed in my entire life. So it was really just cool in that regard. Then, okay, of course, dessert. This is like so important in France.
Mm.
I would say definitely getting to try different types of gelato. So that was actually a Lebanese type of gelato that I got to try. That was absolutely delicious. It was rose, which was so, so good.
It looks so fluffy. It looks like it's
It
puffed
was
up.
airy. It was very
Yeah.
airy. I've never had gelato like it. It was, or just even ice cream like it more so. It wasn't even really gelato. It was ice cream. It was
Oh,
delicious.
and your nail polish matches it. Look at that. Same
Ironically,
color.
ironically, crazy. And then pavlova is one of my favorite desserts of all time. And so I actually researched where is the best place in like Paris to get a pavlova. And so this restaurant that we had gone to with one of my friends who was in town is the place where they quote unquote have the best pavlova.
What's a pavlova?
So it's going to be pretty much a meringue dessert, fluffy meringue with whipped cream, and it'll have a lot of like Devonshire cream, or depending on what place you go to where they'll have it. Then it also has an array of different fruits, more so like berries, so like blackberries,
Mm.
strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and it's just an airy dessert, and it's almost just like you could eat 5 of them, and like it's just super airy and delicious. And my mom is a pastry chef herself, so when she makes pavlovas, it's delicious. So I told her she helped me also look for where I could find the best one. And this one was definitely really delicious. And I think this one was also, gosh, it had to have been like almost 30 euros. And it was definitely worth every bite. I will say that.
Why, your mom is a pastry chef? She must have
Yes.
been in seventh heaven in Paris.
Yes, when she came to visit me, she definitely got to really enjoy, 'cause she also lived in Paris and got trained there at Cordon Bleu. So she definitely got to relive
Wow.
a lot of her experience and see me live out my own experience in a way. So it was kind of full circle for her.
Oh, wow. What a great place to train. It's like you couldn't ask for
The
better.
creme of the creme. Exactly.
Literally,
Absolutely.
literally.
And
Get
yeah,
it?
pastries are
Creme.
super fun. And, oh my gosh, yes. And the pastries were so fun to indulge in, all those things.
And you walked it off.
That
So
was the
you're
beauty of
allowed.
walking. Exactly. Absolutely. So memorable visits. Obviously, Paris has so many different things you can
Mm.
go do, from shopping to sightseeing, all these different things. My program provided a lot of visits, and also there were some that I went and did on my own. And I was able to cross off a lot off my list, but there is definitely some that I wish I could have done, but that also gives me a reason to head back. So I will be showing what I was mainly visiting and going to. So the Louvre is an iconic spot for museum seeing and just being able to see various art collections. And so I got to be able to, I think we got there, me and one of my really good friends, Jesse, who's in the photo on the far right. We got there at like 2:30 and we didn't leave till it closed at 6. We were just there
Wow.
to soak it all in and just embrace every single second of just how wonderful that museum has all of these different amazing collections. And so the one on the far left was just a really cool room, also interior design wise, to see the blending of the old and the new and to learn even the history of the
Mm.
Louvre, which I had no idea that it used to be a fortress. And then it
Mhm.
became a royal residence. And then
Right.
now, obviously, it's the museum that we know it is today. And then the one in the middle is the iconic Mona Lisa. And we talked about it in your class as well about the meaning of the Mona Lisa and what that painting did for future artists and paintings. And
Mhm.
so that photo was insane to even capture just because the one on the right shows me and my friend Jesse trying to get to the front. And it was just like, I think we stood trying to get to the front of it for at least 10 to 15 minutes just because everyone was
Wow.
swarming to see it, just because everyone understands it's pretty much, or at least it's relevant and it's some sort of importance. And so
I think she's the most popular work of art in the whole museum.
I
She's the
know
one reason people go to the Louvre. They don't realize
exactly.
there's so much else.
And there was like people cutting, it was crazy. And it was just like, I just need one photo and then we're out of here. So yeah, Jesse and I definitely had a really fun time trying to do that. And so she was just capturing the moment of us just like struggling. And I was so close on giving up, but the photos were it to have. And especially
Definitely.
since with the heist that happened recently, it definitely
Mhm.
is very
I
interesting
was
to
going to
be.
say it's a good thing you got there before the recent robbery.
I know. And it's crazy even to think that walking through the crown, where the crown of jewels was, like, I didn't even think that that could even be pulled off or possible. So,
Gosh. And I'm just curious, what was your experience of the Mona Lisa in person? Because we had
oh
seen it
my
in
goodness.
class on a slide, but what is it
Right.
like?
It's really, well, like you said, it's tiny. So
Yeah.
obviously that's probably why there's so much swarming around it. I
Mm.
actually did see it when I went to Paris for the first time when I was really much younger.
Mhm.
And I don't really remember that. I saw it from afar and my parents were just like, here you go. You got to see it. You say you saw it. And so this time it was really great that it was her first time in Paris. So it was really, she wanted to go to the front and get the photo. And so I was like, I really appreciated that.
Ah.
So being able to see it right up front there, it was just like, as an art historian, like even walking through the Louvre and learning all about that, it's really was such another pinch me type moment. But
Yeah.
really being able to see such a monumental painting like the Mona Lisa in person was really, it just made everything kind of like all make sense and really just like warmed my little art history heart. Yeah,
Mm.
it was awesome.
That had to be a wonderful moment for an art historian.
Absolutely, for sure.
A
And
goosebump moment, I call them.
oh, yeah, fully, 100%. Next was
Wow.
Palais
Mm.
Garnier, which is the opera house. With I had no idea had a very big depth of history and all of these different sorts. And so my professor, my sketching professor, uh, brought us to Palais Garnier to sketch, and I was extremely intimidated because if you get to go to Palais Garnier, it is just full of chandeliers and complicated angles and very classical architect, like interior and architecture. And so I was really intimidated to draw it, but sketching really taught me, which is so important in design, to be able to just let loose and draw what you see and not try to be a perfectionist.
Is
So,
that your sketch
yeah,
on the
so that was
left?
my sketch.
Oh
That was my sketch. That took
God,
me
you are
almost an hour.
talented.
Oh, thank you.
It only took you an hour
Mhm.
to do that?
Yes. It
My
took just
gosh.
measurements and all these different
That is
things. Yeah.
so impressive.
Thank you. Thank you so
Wow, I
much.
had
Yeah.
no idea you could draw like that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. So it definitely, that was after a couple of sessions that we had had. So that was not like first day when we went to go sketch. That was not one of the things we had to go sketch. So thank goodness, because it was just very intimidating and I didn't even know where to start. So my professor actually had to come and help me just to kind of like tell me where I should start and then go from there.
Mhm.
So yeah, it ended up being one of my favorite sketches I ever drew. So really happy about that. And then yeah, just like it reminded me a lot of Versailles, which I will actually be showing Versailles here in a little bit, but it was just so cool to see the elaborate frescoes and the chandeliers. It was very just like more, it was really warming as an interior designer to see that because it's just so dreamy and romantic and stuff that you see in movies a lot of the time.
It's
So,
very grand. It's very imposing. I
well, it's
remember
exactly its
having that
name,
impression.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was, and just to learn about the history of the opera house and who
Mm,
even commissioned it and why they wanted it to be its statement piece. It was
yeah,
really interesting to learn about it.
it's a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
You can imagine it with real candles, right?
Right,
Not
exactly.
electrified
Not
like today,
electrified
but like in
anymore.
the 19th
Exactly. Yeah.
century.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Man, that would have been interesting.
Ah,
So then the Louis Vuitton Foundation, this is going to be a newer museum that is developed and is really well known for having solo exhibitions. So mainly one artist gets to feature a lot of their work most of the time. And so it was really cool because it is the person who, or I guess the management company of Louis Vuitton. So they invested and put a lot of money into it. And it was really great to
mm,
also learn about the architecture and history of it. And
mm.
so when I was there, I actually got to see the David Hockney exhibit, which was literally this museum is like, I want to say 3 to 4 levels. It was just 3 to 4 levels of just all of David Hockney's work from all different eras and aspects of his life. And
Oh,
it was really cool to learn about even David Hockney, which I had heard about him a little bit, but it was really awesome to just like fully dive in and understand the meaning of his work and then sketching right after. So
I see another wonderful sketch there.
another sketch,
Wow,
yes.
you really have talent. My gosh, what an eye.
Thank you. That
Well,
one also was very intimidating just because of the different amount of geometric angles and being
yeah.
able to try to nail it on the first time, but also part of it is just sketching what you see. So,
And what a contrast with the Palais Garnier and the Louvre, right? Boy,
right. Oh boy.
we go from, old and traditional to super contemporary,
Absolutely.
modern.
And these sketches definitely are something that I really wanted to develop and put in my portfolio. So the whole point was everything that I was
Mm.
doing in this program was to develop my portfolio. So,
Ah, it's going to be very impressive. You're going to get the best job in the world when you graduate.
thank you. I hope so too. The next museum is the Rodin Museum, which is actually was a 2-minute walk from my Airbnb, ironically.
Wow.
So I didn't even really know about the history of the Rodin Museum and just the importance of the statue. So it was really cool being able to see that and understand that way better. And it was just such a museum I've never even been to, nothing like it.
Mm.
Maybe similar to the Louvre in regards to the amount of different Greek statues and even sculptures that they had. But it was such a dreamy spot, and it was really cool to even just see a lot of French locals even just come to eat lunch or have a picnic, and just really the museum culture and how the French use the museums, and not only as for like a tourist destination, for
Mm.
example, but they use it as a place to gather and create community. It was really, really interesting to see that. And it makes me almost want to go back just to re-experience all
The
of that.
grounds are beautiful. I could imagine just strolling around there like you were on a beautiful day. You had gorgeous weather, although you said it
Really,
was
I
hot.
lucked out. Maybe there was a couple days maybe where it rained intensely, but it
Mm.
was mainly sunny. And honestly, it was like at least 90 degrees Fahrenheit a lot of the days. So it was
Mm.
very hot. But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you got to see Paris in a whole different light. So
And you got to see Rodin in person. What was it like to see his sculptures up close?
it was really cool. It
Yeah.
was really just so interesting to learn about Rodin because I didn't know that much. So it
Mm.
was really great to be able to just learn more about him and then see them all in person. Next is the one and only Musée d'Orsay. That was quite an experience. I did not know it used to be a former train station. So the fact that they converted that into an art museum as well. It's really interesting to see how the French especially transform art museums from what they were originally and keeping the historical components to that. That is something
Yes.
that I got to learn a lot about while living there. And yeah, I mainly just was so really just fascinated by the architecture and interior of it, and being able to see they had also quite an extensive art collection themselves. And so it was awesome actually seeing Monet's work there, and Monet is one of my favorite artists, and seeing his
Me too.
lilies pieces was
Mm.
just that also was like it was equivalent to like a goosebumps moment. I just was like it felt like everything was right. I sat there and just embraced that painting just because that's been one of my favorites for a very long
Do
time.
you know it's my favorite of all of his water lily paintings? And he did so many, but I love the colors. I love that cast of blue and the green. And to use your word, it has a kind of dreamy quality about it.
Oh,
It's my
yes.
favorite too. That's funny.
It's yeah, it has to be. I think of all of his work, that
Yeah.
is probably my favorite one. Yes,
Mm.
it's absolutely amazing.
So that's interesting for you as an interior designer too, because
Oh
instead
yeah,
of knocking something down and starting from scratch, you're seeing a great example of how something can be transformed
totally.
for another purpose,
Oh yeah,
but keeping, the integrity of the structure and,
absolutely.
in this case, the historical value of it. Because I think at one point there was some talk of demolishing it, but then somebody
Right.
came
No,
along
you're
with the
absolutely
idea,
right. There was, and
right?
I love that they just kind of pay homage to what it was before, and
Yeah.
kind of it's like I guess a sign of remembrance more so just of honoring its original function and then turning it into something completely different. And now there are so many visitors that get to go see and learn about it. Maybe not as in depth, but definitely get to learn about just the meaning of the place itself, which
That was my mom's favorite museum. And I took her to many when we were there, but
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
by far her favorite. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think that art collection was also quite unique as well. So being able to see all of those were amazing.
Mhm.
So going to Gallery Dior was quite a unique experience. It's something that I think social media really made super popular. A lot of people were putting it up, whether it be on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, about what the Dior Museum is about. And I am someone who's big on fashion, and it's primarily pretty much you get to learn about the history of Dior and how they evolved into the brand that they are today.
Oh.
And so I was just in awe the entire time just because they had pieces of that Beyonce and Princess Diana wore in this museum. So it was really cool to just be almost where I'm like, oh my gosh, they once wore this, and I'm like this many feet away from it. It was
Goosebump moment.
oh my, I think honestly, this experience of living in Paris was just full of goosebumps. It's probably one of the words I would use to describe it, just because there was so many moments like that. But yeah, so I really just got to see how a lot of Dior's designs are so timeless in today's world. And so that wall is just like really cool. The one on the left specifically, where it's like it goes from the really like lowest whites and like light pinks to then it goes all the way up to black. So it's like a rainbow and of different accessories and dresses and all sorts of things that they collected and made. So it becomes a photogenic spot, I would say.
Those dresses are just divine. There's a dive.
It's dreamy. It's like you want to get in one and find an occasion.
I want the one on the right.
Oh my gosh, I have so many photos of just even those
Oh my
dresses, and
gosh.
that would be really cool.
They're like princess dresses, you know.
You would feel like exactly.
You do,
It's almost
really.
like a sense of royalty or just something. It's so like special. Absolutely.
My mother-in-law used to love Dior perfume. I remember when she came to visit us in Louisiana and she was going back through at the airport to go through the security.
Yeah.
And I guess her bottle of Dior beeped because it had some metal on it.
Oh no.
And the security guard came over and he was going to take it away. And she said, "Oh, mon Dior." And I could hear her yelling from, like 10 miles away.
Oh
Like,
no.
"Don't take my perfume, not
Oh my
my Dior."
That's why I think you have to. Yeah, that would stress me out too. But, like Dior's perfumes are really nice. Yeah. Oh, well, did she get to keep it?
She did.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So verdict is she got to keep it. Good.
I didn't know they had a gallery just for Dior.
Yeah.
Wow,
So in
that's
France
good.
they have one, and in Paris specifically they do have one, which is
I
so.
must go.
Yeah, you have to. It's definitely worth seeing it. And then Villa Savoie, which is a very famous spot for architects and interior designers, just because Le Corbusier is a very important architect. I'm actually learning about him in one of my classes right now, ironically. And so it's really cool when I got asked to talk about what Villa Savoie was, I was able to refer to so much. So really learning through experience and being able to sketch at this very minimalistic home was so interesting. It was like in Poissy, which is like a suburb of Paris, maybe at most 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. So hopped on the metro, got on a bus, and somehow ended up here. And it was really nice just to be able to eat lunch and then sketch right after. It was quite a romantic day that day, just because that was what I got to say, what happened in my day, and got to learn all about just like the meaning of this place and its history as well.
It's kind of the epitome of minimalism.
Absolutely.
No clutter there.
Really meant to be like a functional architect. Like very much his projects were more so based on the function and just super simple designs. So that was also really interesting to see how the power of simplicity and design can really go places. Probably not what I would do in my designs personally, but it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, and the contrast is again so interesting with central Paris, and then you have this super modern structure. That's
And just to even get out of the city for a second and really be surrounded by this many trees. I think that was the first time I've been surrounded by nature like that. Would have been maybe at least almost a week in some, at least, just because.
Nice to breathe some clean air, right?
Oh yeah, just because it's not building on building on building. So it was really nice to be able to have a breath of fresh air in a sense. So sightseeing. So Paris is one with so many sights, and I was really lucky and fortunate to be able to go visit Notre Dame. It had just reopened right when I got there, so it was so great to be able to go inside and actually see it after the fires, because I think it was closed for at least a couple years
Yes.
from, I want to say at least 6 to 7. So it was
Mm.
really awesome to be able to just go inside and just admire its beauty. And then I even did a little blessing just because it was just such a special moment to be able to re-enter that in
Yeah.
space and feel some sort of joy for the French people, especially since that was
Mm.
such a tragedy when that all was happening.
It's such a part of their history. It was so heartbreaking when it burned down the top.
Absolutely.
Fortunately, not all of
Yeah.
it, but they're still not sure quite what,
Yeah, they're right
set it off.
now
But
renovating right now still, but
yeah.
it's at least open to the public. And
Hmm.
I think they're more so doing renovations that are meant to help the longevity of it, which is
Oh,
awesome.
wonderful. Yes.
Yes. And then, of course, the Eiffel Tower, which is one of the most, I think, Paris's most iconic landmark of all landmarks. And like I said, I did see the Eiffel Tower almost every single day, and I miss that. If there's one thing I like, I have a list of things I miss about Paris, but that probably is one of the
Oh.
top on my list, just because it's Paris. It signifies so much about it. And there are other ones that I don't have on here, like the Arc de Triomphe, but uh, mainly I got to really spend my time being able to be in the settings of the Eiffel Tower and Notre Dame, just because the Arc de
Mhm.
Triomphe, I find that traffic,
Yeah.
circulation area very chaotic and
Mm.
very congested.
Mhm.
So it's so much easier to just be able to see it in the car. And I would say, oh my gosh, there it is. And
Yeah.
like embrace and have that moment and then move on with the rest of my day. But
And
yeah.
isn't it ironic about the Eiffel Tower that when it was built, everybody was up in arms because they said it's going to ruin the landscape of Paris, it's going to
Yes.
destroy the beauty of the city, and now it's become the very symbol of Paris.
I mean, you would see every single person, whether like at tourist shops or wherever, you would see the Eiffel Tower almost on every single thing. It's honestly made Paris part of what it is, like
Oh.
known as the place of, I think it's the City of Lights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, City
Yep.
of Lights, the Eiffel Tower. There's so many things great about
Did you
Paris.
go up to the top?
No, that was one thing I debated about doing with Jesse, but I did not do that just because I really wanted to, I don't know, my fear of heights.
Ah.
I mean, I kind of have it, but also don't. And I just felt like those stairs, I mean, I could easily do the stairs, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I was ready for that view. I was not sure how I'd handle it. I think I would freeze for sure. So I
No,
didn't feel that was
that's
worth it.
okay because I think honestly it's better from a distance. It's more impressive because when
Yeah.
you're in it, you can't see it.
Right.
So you got the
I'm
better
sure
view.
you get to see some incredible landmarks if you're up top there for sure, but definitely,
Mm.
yeah, like you said, I think on the ground feels safer and you get some great views of the Eiffel Tower anyway from that view.
Yeah.
So excursions outside of Paris. So I was really lucky and had some moments to get outside of Paris
Mm.
just because I feel like getting out, it would be, you know, it actually is a city where it's so easy to get in and out just because of the amount of different trains they have,
Mhm.
and not just the underground metros, but definitely the land ones where they can take you from A to B. And it was really interesting to be able to get out in not just out of France, I was able to explore outside of there as well. So
Mhm.
to get started, Versailles, a lot of people don't know that Versailles is not in Paris. It is about an hour out of Paris. And so Versailles was so dreamy. That was a trip with my program. So I was able to walk through where the former French monarchs got to just frolic and live their daily lives. And that palace also has an extreme amount of history. And I think that was the day that I had the most steps. I think I would track my steps every single day. And that day I had the most steps out of all of them.
You must have had 50,000 just walking around.
Oh my gosh, it was, I think, almost at least 20,000 at least. Like, it was a lot of steps, but it made it so worth it. We had the whole day to be there with my program. So we were there, like, got there really early in the morning. So we got to experience the whole palace and see the king and queen's apartments and obviously the Hall of Mirrors, which is probably, I think, the most remarkable room of all the rooms that they have and hallways, I think, of all time. And then also getting to experience their gardens and even going to Le Petit Trianon and Grand Trianon and being able to see the other important grounds and residences that are on that. It was really cool. Like, this is actually my second time going to Versailles, and I had gone in the midst of just post-pandemic, like 2021. So it was really interesting to be there where there was so many more people. Whereas when I went last time, it was a lot quieter. So it was really interesting to experience it in two different ways.
Yeah, tourism has really picked up since the pandemic
Oh
was
yeah,
over.
France
Oh my
is.
gosh.
I think France is back. France is back in that
Oh
regard.
yeah. Now, did you have a guide or take a tour? Or did you use an
Um,
audio guide? Or
So my professor he's French, so
Mm.
he was able to tell us a lot about the history. And also, when I was younger, I did like in high school, a presentation on Marie Antoinette. So I did get to learn a lot about her and just even the connections to the French monarchy and also royal residences like the Versailles. So it was really, really interesting to be able to learn all about that.
And you saw Le Petit Trianon, which was her favorite place because she wanted to escape all the formality
if
and
I was
rules
to
of the
live
court.
in a place like that with that type of architecture and interior, it would be that. Just
Me too.
because the gardens are also just stunning. And even going to the little village too, where she had her own little village to escape from.
Did you go there?
Yes,
Oh.
and got to sketch there as well. I didn't include it in this one because I didn't take any photos of it, but it was really dreamy. It was just, I'm like, I think of how would, in that time period, living there, that must be so interesting.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette used to dress up like a shepherdess
Yeah.
and pretend that she was just an ordinary person and not the Queen of France because she hated all the rules and the etiquette.
I get it. Exactly, the etiquette. Absolutely.
I can't blame
completely
her.
understand. I understand. I don't think I could live in it now, but it's
No, me
so
neither.
fascinating to learn about it.
Yeah.
So Giverny, France. So this is the city where Monet lived, and his residence was here. And so I was really fortunate to be able to go to his home with my mom, and we got to see his gardens where he was inspired and created his famous water lily paintings, as well as the one with the bridge, which if you see on the far right, the bridge is just really hidden, but it's right there. And it was such a really unique experience to be able to learn about Monet and just to even be where in the presence of where he would create his paintings was, I loved that experience, every single second of it. And it was a beautiful day too. And these were the photos where I did not capture as many people in it because it was a very busy day when we had gone. So
you got to see the very pond where he painted the water lilies that you saw in the Musée d'Orsay.
Once again, another goosebumps moment once again. But yeah, very much enjoyed one of my favorite experiences, I think, of all time.
And did you go into his house itself?
Yes, we did. So I got to see his kitchen and the bedrooms and the living spaces and studio. It was really quite an interesting, just once again, another art history moment where you're like, oh my gosh, it all is coming together. But that town is also very tiny. So for anyone visiting, I wouldn't suggest planning on staying there. It's more so I'd say definitely go just to see that and then go somewhere else and see, just because it is so tiny and not much to do in that city. But I could understand why Monet loved it for sure. It was a very nice atmosphere.
The gardens are absolutely glorious.
That was another one where I just love to sit there all day.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. But the heat definitely was not going to be in our favor for that.
And how extensive are the gardens? Are they just in
Pretty
front of the
large,
house, or do they kind of go on?
I would say pretty large. Like they have it where there's a street that even separates the two. And you have to go underneath the street. They've created an underground passage where you can get access to the gardens. Another set of it. So the pond is actually located directly opposite of where the house is. So it honestly, from what I understood, it would definitely be a long walk to even like maybe a couple minutes. But I feel like if I was an artist, I'd want to just be able to roll right out and just see it. But for him, it would be kind of just a miniature excursion to get to the pond. And it was really cool also to see, I think, the original boat that they've been somehow able to save because they had to actually redo the bridge, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
So it's not the original one.
Oh, the
anymore.
Japanese bridge is not the original one.
No, it's not the original. They had to redo it. Yeah.
And did you see the Japanese prints inside his house and his kitchen and all? Are they still on the wall?
I think yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I entirely remember now. Now I might have to go back to find out.
You have to go back.
Once again, another reason to go. Once again, making that list longer.
We
Please
can find
do.
lots of reasons.
Please do. Yes. So then Reims, France, which is the Champagne region of France, where they're known for making champagne. And it was really interesting to learn about champagne in an educational aspect. And one of my favorite, I think, activities that I did during this whole living experience was being able to go to Veuve Clicquot, which is my favorite champagne, and being able to learn about their wine and their process. And so getting to go down in the caves was one of the most unique experiences, and seeing their stock and learning about how they do their champagne and even having an exclusive tasting. So it was awesome to be able to try vintages and champagnes that will never be able to come to the US, and just that it will primarily probably stay at that specific facility. So another goosebumps moment.
Is it a complex process to make champagne?
I think it's more so how long it sits for is what's so important, because they taught us with the light how you would know if a champagne was ready or not. So there was so many different, like those sommeliers and those people who do that as a career. That is incredible, because
Yeah.
they make such high quality. And even to learn about just even how women also were involved in the champagne making industry out there,
Hmm.
and through Veuve Clicquot, which was even learning about the names before it and its history. It was
I
really
think there's a movie on either Amazon or Netflix about Veuve Clicquot and
I
how
think
it
it's
got
what
its
the
name. And
Grand Madame is what they nicknamed her. Yes.
yes, exactly. And it tells
Yes.
you the history of how the champagne came to be, basically, and the brand. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then
Mm.
even the colors, they also taught us about what the colors specifically mean. It's a little bit fuzzy to me
Mm.
now,
Mm.
but you would know based on the color of it what type of champagne it is. So, yeah.
And I bet the best part of all was tasting.
Oh, the best thing, it was you're having the best champagne probably right there, and exactly like vintages that you'll never see
Wow.
anywhere else.
Mm.
It was really cool.
Mm.
So then I also got to get out of France. And the one place
Mm.
that I did get to go to was Amsterdam. And that friend in that photo is, I actually met her here. Her name's Eva or Ava. Ava is one of my dearest friends, and I absolutely loved visiting her in Amsterdam. She'd been begging me to come if I was going to be
Oh.
coming to Paris. So I booked my train ticket and took at most, I think it was at most 3 hours out to Amsterdam to visit and spend. I think I only spent like 36 hours there. It was a quick little hey
Mhm.
and bye.
Mhm.
And I went on the day where it was their 750th anniversary as a city existing, Amsterdam.
Oh,
So
what perfect
everyone was out,
timing.
and it was
Oh.
really hot as well. So it wasn't too different from Paris's heat and temperature, but it was, I loved being able to go to Amsterdam and see how petite and adorable this city is, and also celebrating with all the locals about that city and its really deep history and
You were
meaning.
lucky to be there on that day. That was a unique experience.
I know, of all the weekends I chose, I hit the jackpot. That was definitely really, really
And you
fun.
rented bicycles?
So I really got the local experience. So she brought everyone rides bikes there if you're mainly local. And so
Mhm.
I haven't ridden a bike in God knows how many years. And so it was really fun to be able to get behind it and just be able to ride. And that's even how I took my luggage, my bag, and everything to her place. It was all through that. And yeah, it was definitely a workout. I was sore the next day. I forgot what riding a bike, how that intense on the body that is. But
Mm.
it was really, really fun. Like just being able to explore Amsterdam through
Yeah.
a local perspective. Because I've also been to Amsterdam a couple years ago, and I got the whole tourist experience. So it was
Mhm.
really great to see from a local's eyes what Amsterdam is really like.
Mm.
Building connections. So I really wanted to focus on building my connections on this trip as much as experiencing so much. I also wanted to make everlasting relationships and friendships with people.
Mm.
And so the one on the far left is Bella, who is one of my childhood best friends. I've known her since I was at least 7 or 8.
Oh.
And it was really great. She lives in Paris and goes to the American University there. So she was in Paris for a little bit. So I was able to experience that with her.
Ah.
And it was just so wonderful. It was really, really great to be able to experience Paris with her and just being able to bond and become closer as friends. And then on the next two images were mainly of people that I met through my program and being able to make connections with them. And I'm very grateful. I still keep in touch with a couple of them,
Mm.
and even just making business opportunities as well from those situations. But yeah, I hope to visit the one that's in the middle. She lives in New York. So maybe either a reunion in Paris or go to New York would be really wonderful.
Sure, why not?
Any reason, absolutely.
It's
As you
nice to
can,
keep up the new friendships.
right, exactly. And also, as you know, I love any reason to travel. So there's that.
I got that impression.
There you go. Right. So the reality. So more so the question is, what's it like living in a city as urban as Paris? So Paris was a really intense urban setting. And for me, I was not used to that just because being born and raised in San Diego, California, and Honolulu here, there is a very, I guess, big balance between the two, where you have the
Mhm.
intense urban life, but then you also have the suburbs and the nature where you're able to really recline and sit back and not be in those intense settings. And
Mhm.
I feel like San Diego and Honolulu have healthy balances of both of those. And for Paris, there's not much of a nature component. It is pretty much just building after building after building. And so for me, that was something really interesting to learn about. And also the demographics and what situations you're dealing with was really important for me to see as new person living in Paris and experiencing it in that
Mhm.
way, because it's very different, like visiting versus living in Paris, very different.
Yeah.
The weather conditions were also really grueling. I want to say that I was expecting a colder summer, and there it was extremely humid. If you account for, yes, like 90 degrees Fahrenheit, that is really hot. But when you have concrete and different slabs like that with the heat and the sunlight
Mhm.
going against
Mhm.
that, it makes it feel like 100. So
Yeah.
I was not dressed equipped for that. And I
Mm.
also was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm coming from the island life where it's so humid and hot. Like, I should be fine. But I was going through it.
Yeah.
And just because I also feel like here we're able to wear a lot more comfortable clothing that is adaptable. And we also have a lot more of a wind
Mhm.
traffic system.
Mm.
Whereas in Paris, there's not too much of that.
No, they don't have the trade winds.
And it's also a lot of people dress very fashionably, and you just are trying to keep up and
Mhm.
blend in more so. I didn't want to stand out that I wasn't living in Paris, and that I am living there, but I'm not from there. And it's how do I blend in and not, you know,
Mhm.
fit in with the local community way.
Mhm. It
And
was
find
very hot there this summer. Usually France is cooler in the summer and
Yeah,
Italy is hotter, but this
yeah, there
year,
was a
this
massive
past
heat
year
wave.
was the opposite.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a massive heat wave
For
for sure.
you.
It's okay. Hey, there's worse things to be going through. Financially affordable, more so what I mean is that it's not financially affordable if you are going out and eating a lot or
Mhm.
drinking out a lot. It's not as sustainable, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Definitely grocery shopping. I loved grocery shopping there. That was so fun to do. But when there are times where my friends would want to go grab dinner or even like a coffee or a matcha, whichever, it definitely those add up. So I
Yeah.
remember seeing my statements and being like, okay, yeah. So we're definitely indulging in that regard. But
Especially with the euro being stronger than the dollar.
oh, I know.
20% stronger at the moment. So
Yeah, so that's also thinking about that too. It's also super important when you travel, especially to Europe, knowing where the dollar, wherever your currency is in comparison to the euro, is really important to know.
Mhm.
And then safety hazards, so more so just avoiding hazardous scenarios. I want to say, as a young woman there, it's and living solo is also there's a lot more you have to account for and think for, and requires a lot of street smartness and self-awareness. And
Mhm.
I was very lucky. I didn't go through any pickpocketing situations or any of that. But there were definitely moments where I felt unsafe for sure, as one does in an urban city like that. And it's how do you have the instincts to do how to get out of it or what to do in those situations and thinking 5 steps ahead. So
Mhm. It
this
might be best not to take the metro too late at night, for
yeah,
example.
I definitely learned that for
Yeah.
sure. I definitely had a couple times where I was like, ooh, this is 11 or 12 o'clock at night, not the smartest
Mm.
idea.
Mm-mm.
But I think also it's that city got dark so late, it would get dark at like 10 p.m. at night. So it wouldn't even
Mm.
feel like it's 10
Yeah,
o'clock.
because you're in Northern Europe, so you get
Right.
the nice
So the
long
sun goes
days.
down later.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it feels like the day is everlasting.
Mm.
And then lastly, this was really an interesting factor was I experienced a lot of homesickness, which
Mm.
was really random because when I moved here at 18, I didn't really experience much homesickness on the island.
Huh.
I had a couple times, but nothing too extreme or major.
Mm.
And so when I moved to Paris, I noticed it kind of a couple days after. My mom helped me settle just to make sure I was good. But a couple
Mhm.
days after she left, I had some terrible, tumultuous days where I was really going through it
Oh.
and I really missed home. I think it was part of the humidity of the weather made me really think like I want to be in San Diego or I want to be in
Mhm.
Ottawa. I don't want
Mhm.
to be here
There
right
was a
now.
little adjustment period for you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously that this setting of Paris is completely different from what I'm used to, and
Mhm.
it's how do you stick through and how do you continue on when you're experiencing such crazy homesickness feelings and how do
Mm.
you control it? And
Mhm.
luckily, I think Paris is so great where shopping,
Yeah.
here's a lot of that. The retail therapy, I
There's
was really
enough to
doing a lot of
distract you.
absolutely. You would go through the phase and I would just then I'd be like, okay, I'll go shopping now. So whether it be a jam or just a new set of earrings, whichever, I figured my way through it.
Or
And
you
then
can
it
always go and try a new dessert if things get really bad.
exactly. There's so many ways to combat it. So then the benefits of speaking French.
Ah.
So obviously I have a background in speaking French, but I think it's super important, obviously, wherever you travel, it is important to know a little bit of the language. You don't have to be fluent or entirely fluent even, but it is important to, adapt and be able to have basic conversations, which is
Mhm.
part of my point. The
And
double
were the
bullet.
French people nice to you when you spoke French with them? Were they
They were.
courteous?
It
Yeah.
was all about not getting caught, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I did not want to get caught in like because I was more so nervous about my lack of experience speaking it.
Uh-huh.
How are they going to perceive if I could speak in the accent and if I could nail it on the cue. And so even like just us speaking in the beginning, I could already tell, oh my goodness, I've lost a little bit of it because when you're around it every single day,
Yeah.
you're able to pick up on so much faster. And so
Mhm.
having conversations was so important, being able to, you know, meet people through that and also being able to order and ask for help. You never know when you need to be able to speak in certain situations
Mhm.
and whether it be in like safe or dangerous ones, it's really important to be able to understand something or have at least greetings. And I think that's also really important. If you don't greet the French,
Yes.
that is a huge problem.
Yes.
That is, they will not want anything to do with you. So it's really
Yeah.
important you say bonjour and bonsoir, and even when to know when to say
Mm.
bonsoir. All about that, I would have never known if I didn't live in Paris. So this was great for that. To just know a couple basic tips is really helpful if you travel to Paris or any
That's good advice
France
for our
or
listeners.
francophones.
Yes.
Exactly. And then understanding dialogue also. Yeah, you can be speaking it, but it's also important to understand what people are telling you or what's going on around you. Because if there's, say, for example, something going on that could be hazardous, you can understand from other people what their dialogue that, like, oh my gosh, something's not right. We need
Right.
to follow along with what they're doing.
Right.
Then again, you have to follow your gut instincts and read a room and have some self-awareness for sure. So key takeaways. My key takeaways mainly are, first of all, enhancing my personal French speaking, writing, and reading levels. So speaking it, also being able to write it in French when I needed to, and reading, being able to read menus and different museum labels and all these things. It was really helpful being able to work on that and grow in that area. And also expanding my knowledge in many areas, whether that be through locations and landmarks to food and art. It just, my knowledge was completely, I felt like a sponge. I was absorbing so much and learning so much.
You were immersed.
Totally. So it was really, really great in that regard. And then lastly, definitely was living in Paris as a learning experience of where to live in the future. As I am in my senior year at UH, I am definitely having discussions and thoughts about what's next for me. Where am I going to go? Am I going to move? Am I going to stay? And for me, living in an urban city like Paris told me a lot about that. I cannot live in a city like that full time. As much as I loved it and I'd love to be able to experience it a million more times, I think I can't live in an urban city as intense as that one and other cities like that in the
So
future.
you learned something important about yourself.
Very important, I'd say. And even future job opportunities, I definitely lets me know where I stand. And of course, I think wherever life takes me, wherever I end up, I will follow that. And if I had to live in any urban city, though, definitely would be Paris. But if I have a choice and if my life pans out where I don't have to do that, then that'd be amazing. But also, sometimes when you graduate college, you got to figure out what's next and you have to be able to take any opportunity that poses as one for you. And we'll see what happens for me in the future, but definitely let me know for a long-term living situation whenever I decide to settle down and have a husband, have a family, and all those different things. Definitely Paris will not be the location for that, but it was important to learn about that.
Absolutely. And maybe a smaller town in France, maybe somewhere like Aix-en-Provence or
You never know.
Avignon, or,
Exactly.
on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Would be better for you because you speak the language, you're familiar now with the culture.
Yeah, I would
and
like to
it's
live
a little less
in a
crazy
different
than
country at one
Paris.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know long term, but I definitely would like to experience living for a longer duration in a different city. Preferably Europe would be awesome. But you never know. I'm open to wherever life takes me after graduation. And then remembering my time in Paris, this is where slowly our dialogue and our conversation comes to an end. But I wanted to be able to remember how incredible this summer was for me living in Paris. And so this little place on the left was actually a place where you can create your own perfume. And I went there primarily to collect this lip balm and this comb, which are engraved with my name on them, or just like my initials. I wanted something that I'd be able to carry with me in my day-to-day life that would pay homage to my living experience in Paris. And so this place actually I saw it through social media where you could go do this. And so I decided I wanted to go get one myself. And it's a perfect, honestly, gift-giving gift where you can give people gifts based with like their name or their initials. And so I use that comb and I use that lip balm pretty often. So it just reminds me of my time in Paris.
Brings back good memories.
Yes. And then the last one is in Montmartre, actually, where they have so many different concession stands where you can buy all these different postcards. And so I collected a whole bunch of postcards and they also had incredible art stores there. So when I had to go buy my art supplies for my classes, it was so fun. But I got a whole bunch of postcards to be able to put into my scrapbook because I love scrapbooking. It's a fun hobby I have, and I wanted to be able to document my time there and living in the living moment and being able to collect some actual artifacts that are on paper or physical was something I really wanted to have
I
happen. So,
love the one with the croissant.
and croissants were the best I've had in
I
Paris.
bet.
And then, yeah, so that's pretty much my presentation about Paris. And it was the time of my life. It was that summer, it was super unforgettable. And I would heavily encourage anyone. Yes, my program was not affiliated with UH, but I want to say that, whatever, if there's a moment where you can take a leap of faith and jump across and do something that is bold and different and can help you learn and grow, whether as a person or the field or interest that you have, then I'd say 100% do it. And for me, my first step in proving that was actually going to UH and being able to prove that I can move to an island so far from where I live and being able to prove that I can start a new life and create new community and memories and all these different things and learn about a culture that I didn't know much about. And so that was very similar in Paris and moving to a whole different environment and being able to adapt and find comfort in that and being able to grow. And so coming home, I felt like a very different person, and I owe so much to Paris for who I am now, just because of it helped me grow and figure out what I want to do in life more, and just the memories are everlasting. And when I go back now, I will be even more ecstatic to go back. Like I said, I have multiple reasons to go back. So I owe a lot to Paris, and I'm really grateful to have talked about it. So thank you for getting me.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh,
Merci
de
du
rien.
cœur. Thank you so much from the
Of
heart.
course, thank you.
And thank you for sharing this experience with us,
thank
which
you.
I personally find so inspiring.
Thank you.
There's so much to be said for travel as not only a way to educate yourself, but also to find out more about yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think what you did is tremendously inspiring, and it was very courageous.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you stuck it out and got past your homesickness
It's
and
all
stayed and enjoyed all the wonderful things
gotta have the
Paris
courage.
has.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I definitely need to go back again and explore all of the wonderful places that you told us about.
Well, you get to go in December, so I cannot wait to hear about your experience that you'll be having.
I would be happy to share it with you.
Beautiful.
And thank you all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and gained new insights into the world around us. If you'd like to learn more about Leeward's Global Studies program, consider pursuing our academic subject certificate in global studies. Through courses that explore international issues, language, and culture, you'll gain the skills and perspective needed to thrive in today's interconnected world. For more information, feel free to contact me at sdscotty@hawaii.edu or my colleague, Dr. Kareem Khan, at khana@hawaii.edu. Until next time, mahalo for watching and take care.